Let's see, gravity isn't real, the globe isn't real, outer space isn't real, the moon landings weren't real, dinosaurs aren't real, Antarctica's not a continent, it's an ice wall.
Why is my desk rising up? Yes, how do, dearest viewer, and welcome back to my little corner of the YouTubies. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, please, before we go any further, like, share, and subscribe. That would be fantastic. Thank you all so much. And a massive shout out to my channel members and patrons. Chris O'Bergero, Alan L, Bob Sadler, Morris Gojo, District Driver, Car Talk, and Joe H. Thank you all so very, very much for your kind and wonderful contributions. So, as you may or may not know, I spend some time, quite a lot of time, on something called a TikTok. I love TikTok. It's fantastic. Some of the videos that they do are amazing, and some of the ideas that they come up with are really, really funny and really, really clever. Now, I myself have a TikTok profile. Link is in the description below, so come and follow me if you so wish. And I also make videos on there. Here's one. Yeah, whoops, I think I better crack on with the video. Yes, and first up we have Miss Jenny Rose, the most beautiful of flat earthers. Sorry, Rachie 50, you've been demoted. And, well, just have a listen.
Stitch this with a fact so ridiculous you didn't believe it until you looked it up yourself.
Let's see, gravity isn't real, the globe isn't real, outer space isn't real, the moon landings weren't real, dinosaurs aren't real, Antarctica's not a continent, it's an ice wall, and if you argue any of these things, you're defending the lie.
Well, to be fair, he asked for just one fact. You listed about 6, and you've got them all wrong. What else have you got to say for yourself?
Through the night sky as it hits another thrust set right there. Just see the trail it's leaving behind. Absolutely amazing. And to describe it to you and you can see it, but from the ground it almost looks as though a cloud of smoke with its own mind is just shooting through the sky. This is absolutely incredible. Again, you're watching the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base, this visible from Bakersfield. Absolutely incredible.
Oh, you gormless little bottom burp. No, it's not hitting a firmament, because there is no bloody firmament. All it's doing, the rocket is gaining altitude, and as it gains altitude, the air is thinner up there, so the gases that are coming out the back of the rocket are just expanding. That's all. Right, who's the next bloody thickie then? Ah yes, this is a guy called Globe Skeptic. Now, we all know that Globe Skeptics call themselves Globe Skeptics for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that they are too embarrassed to call themselves a flat earther. And for 2, they call themselves Globe Skeptics because they feel that it gives them more, I don't know, more respect, or it makes them sound more intelligent than your average flat earther. Globe Skeptics, I've got a message for you. It doesn't. You're just as thick and stupid as your average flat earther. Please continue. Oh, bloody hellfire. Another flat earther who just thinks that we're stuck on the side of a ball somehow. How stupid can you be? Now, I've asked this man a question underneath that very video, and I asked him the question: which way is down? And I said, please don't be, you know, like all the rest of the flat earthers out there who can't answer this question. And I just asked, which way is down? And despite the fact that he's replied to other comments after I posted mine, he's still not replied to my comment. What an ignorant... Wow, so if rays clearly meet at the sun, then the sun is clearly just behind these trees. Case closed. And these train tracks are clearly not parallel because they meet in the distance. Case closed.
Then add some syrup or treacle. And I'm going to add a little bit more water to make the layer a bit thicker. Then finally fill the glass up with some oil and leave it to settle for about 15 minutes. These liquids separate out into different layers because they're different densities and they don't mix. The syrup has the highest density, so it sits on the bottom, and the oil, which has the lowest density, rises to the top. Try dropping different objects in to see what happens. If we drop this metal nut in, which is really dense, you can see it sinks right to the bottom. But if I take this grape and drop it in, it sinks through the oil and water, but sits on the syrup. This is because the syrup is denser than the grape. Pretty cool, huh? Now if I take this plastic bottle top and drop it in, it slowly sinks through the oil and sits on the water. And finally, if I take this piece of sponge and drop it in, it sits on top. The oil is denser than the sponge.
So, we've got weight and mass and density and buoyancy. What a load of old crap. Please tell me, how do you calculate weight? Mass and density are not forces, they can't move anything. Look, this has mass. It is quite dense as well, but I'm applying a force to move it. It cannot move on its own. It's sat there on my desk and it's not moving at all. So mass and density are not forces. And you've also mentioned buoyancy. Buoyancy. Wow. Whoopie freaking do. The formula for buoyancy, for instance, contains little g, which stands for...
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity! Gravity!
Thank you, Desert Fire. And back to Globe Skeptic, who doesn't believe that gravity exists or is a force or anything like that. Let's see what happens to his density tower when we take gravity out of the situation.
We have F72, water, and vegetable oil. Then as soon as we hit zero, as soon as we go into microgravity, well, you'll see. 0
Wow, look at all those different liquids with different densities all mix themselves up in the absence of gravity. Wow, who'd thunk that? So, it can't be weight or mass or density or buoyancy, can it? Yes, I did enjoy it, and I did like doing that particular video. Fantastic stuff. Get yourself on TikTok. It is the funniest thing ever. It really is. Some of them are very, very creative in what they do. Anyway, that's the end of the video. That's the video all done, dusted and delivered for your viewing displeasure. Thank you all so much for joining me. Please join me on Patreon or become a channel member or drop us a £2 super thanks. That would be fantastic. Thank you all so much. See you on the next one. Ta-ra for a bit.